All right, let's dive into this reinforcement learning stuff. Looks like we've got a really interesting set of articles and videos you sent over on this topic.
Yeah.
Should be fun.
It's really a fascinating field, and it's really changing, how we think about AI.
Okay.
Yeah, we're moving beyond AI that just processes data.
Mm-hmm.
We're talking about AI that learns from experience like we do.
Okay, so let's back up for a second.
Yeah.
What exactly IS reinforcement learning? I keep hearing these terms like agents and rewards being thrown around.
Right.
What's the big picture here?
Okay, so imagine a dog learning a new trick.
Okay.
Right. The dog is our agent.
Got it.
The world around the dog is the environment.
Hmm.
And performing the trick is the action.
Okay.
When the dog does the trick, it gets a treat.
Yeah.
That's the reward.
Mm-hmm.
And just like with a dog, this reward, motivates the AI agent to learn and improve.
So it's all about figuring out, like, trial and error. What actions lead to those good rewards?
Exactly. And it's not just about finding patterns in data.
Okay.
It's about discovering strategies
Okay.
through interactions for success.
Got it.
So think about it this way.
Mm-hmm.
In supervised learning,
Yeah.
the AI is like a student with a textbook and all the answers.
Okay.
But in reinforcement learning,
Yeah.
the AI is more like an explorer.
Interesting.
Venturing out,
Yeah.
into uncharted territory, learning by doing.
I like that analogy.
Yeah.
One of the sources you sent, reinforcement learning, machine learning meets control theory,
Mm-hmm.
uses this example of a mouse navigating a maze.
Right.
Can you walk us through that?
Absolutely. So imagine a mouse
Yeah.
trying to find the cheese at the end of a maze.
Okay.
Right. The mouse makes a series of decisions,
Mhm.
turn left, turn right, go straight,
Right.
based on its current state,
Okay.
which is its location in the maze.
Got it.
Each step it takes is an action.
Mm-hmm.
The reward is the cheese at the end.
But the mouse only gets the cheese when it gets to the very end. So how does it know which actions along the way were good or bad?
Right. That's the challenge. That's
Mhm.
called the credit assignment problem.
Okay.
One of the fundamental challenges of RL.
Yeah.
The mouse has to figure out which of its actions, even those taken early on in the maze, ultimately contributed to it being successful and finding the cheese.
So how does it do that?
So one way to address this is through a technique called temporal difference learning.
Okay.
Essentially, the agent learns to estimate the value of each state,
Mm-hmm.
considering not only the immediate reward,
Okay.
but also the potential rewards it might expect to get in the future.
So it's like the mouse is constantly updating its internal map of the maze and saying, okay, taking that left turn seems to lead me closer to the cheese.
Exactly.
I should do that more often.
And as the mouse explores the maze and gets more experience,
Yeah.
its estimates become more accurate and it makes better decisions.
Cool.
Now, there are two main approaches to tackling this.
Okay.
Model-based and model-free RL.
Okay. Break those down for me.
In model-based RL,
Mm-hmm.
the agent attempts to build a virtual model of the environment.
Okay.
So imagine our soccer team
Okay.
meticulously studying their opponent
Yeah.
before a match.
Yeah.
They're trying to understand the environment, the game, and predict how their actions might play out.
So they're trying to come up with a good strategy.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's a model-based approach.
Right.
On the other hand,
Yeah.
in model-free RL,
Mhm.
the agent learns directly from experience without explicitly building a model.
Okay.
So think of a soccer team
Yeah.
that simply dives into the game,
Okay.
adapting their strategy on the fly based on what works and what doesn't.
So more reacting to the situation.
Right. It's more about reacting to
Okay.
the situation as it unfolds.
Okay.
A lot of recommendation systems that you see, like
Yeah.
on Netflix or Spotify, employ this model-free approach.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah.
So they're not trying to like map out my entire taste profile in advance.
They're constantly observing your actions,
Okay.
what you watch,
Yeah.
what you skip,
Yeah.
what you rate,
Gotcha.
and then adjusting their recommendations accordingly.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
This brings up another concept I've come across. This whole exploration versus exploitation dilemma.
Right.
It's like the classic, do I try something new or do I stick with what I know works?
Right. Yeah.
How does that play out in RL?
It's one of the fundamental trade-offs in RL.
Okay.
Imagine our mouse in the maze again.
Okay.
Let's say it finds a path that leads it to the cheese.
Okay.
Does it keep taking that same path every time, exploiting what it knows?
Right. Or does it risk going down a new path and exploring and finding an even better route?
Exactly.
But what if that new path leads to a dead end.
Right, and that's the challenge
Yeah.
for RL agents.
Mm-hmm.
Too much exploitation, and they might miss out on better strategies or get stuck in a local optimum.
Okay.
Too much exploration, and they might never make real progress toward their goal.
So it's all about finding that balance.
The best RL agents are the ones that can strike the right balance,
Yeah.
constantly evaluating the potential rewards of exploration
Mm-hmm.
against the certainty of exploitation.
So now that we've got these basics down,
Yeah.
these agents, environments, rewards, this whole exploitation dilemma,
Right.
where do we go from here?
Now that we understand the foundation,
Mm-hmm.
let's see how this seemingly simple concept of reward-driven learning is actually revolutionizing entire industries.
Okay, let's do it.
Yeah. Get ready, because this is where it gets really cool.
Okay.
This is where we see the real-world potential of RL.
Mm-hmm.
We're talking about applications that are already impacting your life,
Ah.
even if you don't realize it.
Give me some examples. Where is RL making the biggest waves?
Let's start with something everyone loves.
Okay.
Games.
Yeah.
You remember AlphaGo?
Yeah.
The AI that made headlines
Uh-huh.
for defeating the world champion Go player?
Yeah.
That was a massive win for RL.
Go is so complex, though.
Right.
I mean, it was thought to be practically impossible
Yeah.
for an AI to master.
It was
So how do they do that?
It was a landmark achievement,
Mm-hmm.
and RL was the key.
Okay.
AlphaGo played millions of games against itself,
Wow.
learning from each victory and defeat,
Hmm.
constantly refining its strategies.
So is this like the future of gaming or something?
It shows how powerful RL can be
Okay.
in tackling problems that even we as humans struggle with.
Yeah, that's really cool.
Yeah.
So RL is mastering complex games.
Yeah.
But what about the real world?
Yeah.
Like beyond the game board?
So RL is also revolutionizing robotics.
Oh.
We're seeing robots now
Yeah.
that can learn to walk, grasp objects, even play ping pong.
Really?
It's not about pre-programming them with specific moves anymore. It's about enabling them to learn and adapt,
So like a human would?
just like a human would.
That's pretty wild.
Yeah.
What about self-driving cars?
Self-driving cars are another huge one.
Okay.
You know?
Yeah.
Think about all the split-second decision-making
Oh, yeah.
in complex traffic situations,
Yeah, for sure.
accounting for, countless variables.
Right.
RL is being used to train self-driving systems to handle these scenarios,
Mm-hmm.
potentially leading to safer and more efficient roadways.
It's kind of scary to think about, like, giving an AI
Right.
that much control.
Right.
Okay, so we've got games,
Yeah?
robots, self-driving cars.
Mm-hmm.
Where else is this being used?
One area you might not expect is personalized learning.
Okay.
Oh, yeah. RL can create educational systems that adapt
Interesting.
to each student's individual needs
Okay.
and learning styles.
Oh, it's like customized learning, basically.
Yeah.
That's great.
Making the learning process
Yeah.
more effective and engaging.
So RL is changing how we play,
Yeah.
how machines move and think,
Yeah.
how we get around,
Yeah.
even how we learn.
Yeah.
Are there any other fields being impacted by this?
We're seeing RL being applied in healthcare
Wow.
to personalize treatment plans for patients.
Okay.
We're seeing it in finance to help make smarter investment decisions.
Right.
It's even being used to optimize energy consumption
Oh, wow.
in buildings, making them more sustainable.
Okay, so it's pretty much everywhere.
The applications are vast, and they're constantly expanding.
Well, hold on a second.
Yeah.
With all this power comes responsibility, right?
Oh, you're right.
Are there any, like, challenges or limitations with RL?
It's not a magic bullet.
Okay.
One of the biggest challenges is what we call sample inefficiency.
Okay.
RL agents often need a lot of data,
Yeah.
a lot of experience
Makes sense.
to learn effectively.
Okay.
Remember our mouse in the maze.
Yeah.
If it only receives a reward at the end,
Yeah.
it might take a really long time to figure out the best path,
Especially if it's a complicated maze.
especially if it's a very complex maze.
Yeah.
More complexity
Yeah.
equals more data needed to learn.
Yeah. Okay, that makes sense, but is there any way to kind of get around that?
Researchers are working on ways to improve sample efficiency.
Okay.
One approach is called reward shaping.
No. Yeah.
Instead of only giving a reward at the very end,
Mhm.
we provide smaller intermediate rewards
Okay.
to guide the agent's learning process.
So it's like giving the mouse little crumbs along the way
Exactly.
to keep it motivated.
Right.
Okay, that's cool.
To keep moving in the right direction.
Are there any other challenges that researchers are kind of grappling with?
Another big one is what we call the curse of dimensionality.
Okay.
As the environment becomes more complex, the number of possible states and actions the agent can take grows exponentially.
Okay.
Imagine our mouse in a maze with millions of paths.
Yeah. That sounds
It
complicated.
becomes computationally very challenging for the RL agent to explore all these possibilities and find the optimal solution.
It sounds like RL has the potential to like really revolutionize a lot of fields.
Yeah, it does.
But it also has its fair share of complexities.
It does.
What are like the key takeaways that you want our listener to understand about the big picture of RL?
Okay, so we've covered like a lot of ground here, from like those basic concepts,
We had
agents and rewards, to these mind-blowing applications that are already out there, impacting our world.
It is amazing to see how it's evolving.
Yeah, so what does it all mean? What's the big takeaway?
Well, I think what's really fascinating
Yeah.
is that reinforcement learning is pushing the boundaries of what AI can achieve.
Yeah.
It's allowing machines to learn and adapt in ways we never thought possible.
Yeah, it really is. Like, AI is evolving like right in front of our eyes.
It is.
And becoming more and more intelligent and independent with every breakthrough.
And that raises some interesting questions.
Yeah, what implications does all this have?
Yeah.
For our listener, their area of expertise or field of interest, right? How will this technology reshape industries, economies, and even our daily lives?
Yeah. It's kind of a head scratcher.
It is.
And I think, the crazy thing is we've only just scratched the surface here.
Right.
There's so much more to explore.
Yeah.
Different algorithms.
Absolutely.
Different applications.
Yeah.
And of course, all the, ethical considerations that come with this kind of powerful technology.
As RL becomes more sophisticated, we need to be mindful of its implications.
Yeah.
And we have to consider not just the potential benefits, but also the potential risks.
For sure.
That's why it's important to stay informed and engaged in the ongoing dialogue surrounding this AI development.
Phil, is there anything that like our listener can do to stay ahead of the curve and contribute to this field that's constantly evolving?
Just never stop learning.
Okay.
Never stop exploring. There's so much information available. Articles, research papers, online courses.
Yeah, there's tons of resources.
Even open source RL platforms where you can actually experiment.
Cool.
And build your own agents.
So it's really like a giant playground for anyone.
It is.
Interested in AI.
Absolutely.
And who knows, maybe our listener will be the one to develop,
Maybe.
the next groundbreaking RL application.
It could be.
The possibilities are endless.
Absolutely. And as AI continues to learn and evolve, we're all part of this incredible journey. And as we move forward, let's keep asking those big questions.
Okay.
How will AI shape our world?
Yeah.
And how can we ensure that these powerful tools are used to create a better future for everyone?
I think that's a great note to end on.
Yeah.
So thanks for joining us for this deep dive into reinforcement learning.
It's been my pleasure.
We hope you found it insightful and inspiring. And remember, this is just the beginning.
It is.
Now it's your turn to go out there. Explore, learn, create.
And shape the future of AI.
And we'll see you next time on The Deep Dive.